Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first Haus and Haus Real Estate Australian webinar, where we'll be delving into all of the key topics and information surrounding Australians purchasing in Dubai. I'm David Hutchinson, Senior Off-Plan and Investment Consultant here at Haus and Haus, and I'm joined by my colleague, fellow Off-Plan and Investment Consultant and fellow Australian, John Gilroy. John, how are you?
Yeah, good Dave. Pleasure to be and excited to do the first Haus and Haus webinar to Australian audience. So yeah, looking forward to it.
No worries. Well, I guess first and foremost, mate, in comparison to me, you actually look like you've been out and enjoying the Dubai sunshine in comparison to myself.
Yeah.
Got a pretty nice tan going on.
Yeah, no, loving the sun and the surf here. So I will get you out at some stage, out into the sun.
Well, I try, mate, but I've been trying to get a tan for 35 years and hasn't worked so far. So I'm not sure it's going to happen anytime soon. But also very happy to be in Dubai. Yeah. And well, I guess the reason why we're doing this, mate, is we've seen a growing level of interest in terms of Australians looking and purchasing property here in Dubai. And you and I have been helping a lot of Australians in recent times purchase over here. But I guess part of the reason why we wanted to do this is there's probably still, I guess the vast majority of Australians probably still don't know just exactly what's happening here in Dubai, how good the market is, some of the big returns that are on offer, and just some of the opportunities that are over here, I guess, in comparison to back in Australia.
Yeah, correct. So, look, I started my career back obviously in Australia, in regional Victoria. I was with Simmons and JG King Homes for about 17 years. Helping, the Australians, create the great Australian dream of owning a house. And luckily got out of there just before COVID, out of Victoria, where you guys had terrible lockdown. Moved up to Queensland to Kura Beach, which was lovely, living there on the beach, and didn't have much lockdown at all. But ended up working with Metricon Homes, doing luxury knockdown rebuilds on the canals with multi-million-dollar homes, and then moved into luxury off-plan sales on the Gold Coast beachfront. Times were pretty tough there during COVID. Prices were going, up with materials, and a lot of building companies were going into liquidation, and buyer confidence was certainly down. And same thing happened with the off-plan as well on the Gold Coast. So it was pretty tough times there, and my partner was going through a bit of a tough time with, with health-wise, and we were doing a lot of treatment over to Germany. And I said, why don't we move closer to Germany? And we thought, well, where could we actually move that could have that sort of lifestyle that we loved in Australia? And we sort of stopped through Dubai a few times, did a bit of research, could see the market here was doing really, really well. Amazing projects, and the lifestyle was definitely what we could actually achieve here, with the sun, surf and beaches and that. So that's what made us sort of move over here, and no regrets, we're definitely moving over to Dubai. What about yourself?
Yeah, amazing. Look, pretty similar actually. So I'm from Victoria originally, and I spent about 12 years working in the house and land industry there, and we're selling off-plan residential blocks of land, house and land packages, townhouses. Worked for some of the biggest property developers in Australia, and as you said, when COVID hit. And being in Victoria with the way the lockdowns were handled, which I think we were certainly one of the most lockdown cities in the entire world, and I think maybe even the most lockdown for the period it was. And obviously the market was quite, shortly after COVID, it got this initial boom with interest rates low and that type of thing. But then after a while the market got quite tough, and going in and out of lockdown made me also look for, I suppose, an alternative. And you're right, I sort of started researching about Dubai and found out that, a lot of similarities to Australia, but probably a lot better things happening just in terms of the market, the way the government operates over here as well. And pretty similar to you, mate, been over here for almost a couple of years now, and haven't looked back to either.
Yeah, and I think the question we get asked quite often is, why Dubai? And I think there are those sort of misconceptions about Dubai. People obviously think we're just living in this desert and there's not much here, but there's just so many things going on. And, people think it's very strict living here. It's not, it's very similar to Australia. They think, women have to be fully clothed and covered up, but you can go to the beaches or malls, and it's just like, as I said, walking in a beach in Australia with people in normal sort of, beach attire. And there's 85% of the population here is actually expats. So, and the population that actually comes through here each year, I think there was 159,000 people that moved here in the last year. That was from, I think, the 27th of this month to the 27th of last year. So there's a lot of people moving here, and for many reasons. And as we said, there's about 200 nationalities in the world, and I think nearly all of those 200 nationalities actually live here in Dubai. So it is a real sort of culture sort of city. So
yeah, it's interesting you said about the number of expats, isn't it? Because when you're here, you really don't feel out of place because everyone else is pretty much from somewhere else. The Emiratis themselves are only a small portion of the population, and like if you were to move to Thailand or Southeast Asia, you're in a different country. You're not from there. Whereas here, everyone just kind of blends in together, and it's got a really positive vibe about the place because I think the people, as I said, there's a lot of people moving here, and people are very happy here with what the government's doing, and in terms of great weather all year round, no income tax or capital gains tax. It's one of the safest cities in the world. There's great opportunity. It's a growing economy, the busiest real estate market in the world, and people are very happy to be here.
Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, safety is one reason why people do want to be here. They want their children to be brought up here. Great education, great healthcare. They've got lots of plans in place. They've got the 2033 plan, which is the economic plan, which is to obviously double the economy by that period. They're really encouraging small and large businesses to move to Dubai. I think we were one of the most heavily invested greenfields areas in the world, second, I think, to Singapore. So they're really putting things in place. There's the Dubai 2040 plan, which is to double the population from currently around about 3.8 to 7.8 million. So that's huge. A lot of infrastructure continually going in for that. It's just forward thinking, I think, which we just don't sort of see in other countries.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, sort of it's twofold, isn't it? Because you've got Dubai on one hand doing all these amazing things, and very appealing to people. And I guess the flip side is, from the people we speak to on a daily basis, people are very unhappy about what's happening in their home countries, with high taxes, high cost of living, inflation. Political tension, rising crime as well. It's making a lot of people look to, instead of buying another property in their home country, look to diversify out and go into, I suppose, a more stable, growing market with just much better returns. And I suppose, a bit less BS going on, if I can say that. So I guess you've got Dubai on one hand, they've got a plan, they've got a vision. There's just one government in charge, and they've got the ability to execute. And then on the flip side, you've got a lot of instability in once, typically very strong economies, the US, the UK, etc., sort of, going through some pretty tough times at the moment.
Yeah, and another reason, I suppose, why now to invest? Obviously, it is booming, as you said. Population keeps growing, so if you're an investor to get in, you're obviously getting good ROI here. You're averaging about 7 to 8%. There is a bit of an undersupply, I think, of what's coming to the market, and that's why things do sell out so quickly. So I think now is the perfect time to invest. The growth has been huge over the last 1 to 2 years. I think there's been about a 33% sort of growth each year, sort of annually continuing. So yeah, I think for those Australian investors that don't know much about Dubai, obviously very high ROIs, great capital appreciation. It's the lifestyle, the safety. There's just numerous reasons why people are actually moving here. And I think the opportunity is now to really get in and have a chat to us and see what we can help them with.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, prices are certainly increasing, rents are certainly increasing, and there's some great incentives for people to purchase property with the visas. And I guess the two main ones that are on offer are the 10-year golden visa, which gets talked about quite a lot. So to qualify for that, you need to purchase a property at 2 million dirhams or above, which is about 800,000 Australian equivalent. But if you didn't sort of have that level of funds to play with, there is a more of an entry-level one, which is a 2-year investment visa, which only requires a property purchase of 750,000 dirhams, which is about 300,000 Australian dollars. So there's a couple of key entry points there where people can get visas, come and go as they please, open up bank accounts here, and almost have a home away from home.